Welcome to Episode 2 of Trigger Warning, the series that catalogs and disputes the lies and disinformation spread about guns and gun control. Like Episode 1, this video will deal with body armor, armor-piercing bullets, and penetration. Or the lack thereof. As a primer, this is an older video, and due to the overwhelming backlash from the shooting community, the proposed ban was rightly rejected.
Now, here we have an issue that we might finally get agreement with gun control advocates and the NRA. Now, these are about a certain kind of green tip bullets that can pierce armor that would, who wears armor, right? Cops and stuff like that.
I'm going to put this on the table right from the start. Green-tipped ammo is military surplus ammo. The color on the tip of military ammo makes it easy for soldiers to identify what they are loading into their guns. Green-tipped ammo is not armor-piercing ammo. The U.S. military color designation for armor-piercing ammo is a black tip. If you haven't already, please check out my first trigger warning video where I describe how nearly all rifle ammo can penetrate standard-issue police body armor.
All right, let's go to Media Matters covering this story. On February 13th, the ATF published a letter describing its intent to ban the importation and manufacture of a type of armor-piercing ammunition commonly called green tip that is used in AR-15 and other AR-type assault weapons. Again, very non-controversial. Do deer wear armor? Not usually, so you don't really need armor-piercing bullets for hunting. I hear that's what it's all about.
Again, in my previous video, I went over the top 10 most common deer hunting cartridges. Every single one of them can penetrate a Kevlar vest. And not some weak-ass penetration, I'm talking deep, hard penetration. And you hear that hunting is what gun ownership is about? Who the fuck have you been talking to? The last time I read the Second Amendment, I don't recall it saying, in order to make hunting more feasible, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I have never heard a Second Amendment advocate say, all we want guns for is to hunt. No, they want guns for hunting, self-defense, target shooting, general sportsmanship, and because fuck you.
What? Do people who are mugging you in the street normally wear armor? Very, very rarely, almost never heard of that. Right?
If I wanted to use a firearm to protect myself against a mugging, I would use one of these, not one of these. This fires this bullet, not this bullet. This bullet is designed to be used in a handgun, which can be carried on the body and is fairly easily concealable. This bullet goes in a rifle, which is well over 2 feet long, weighs several pounds, and is impossible to conceal without wearing a trench coat.
They explained because the green tip round contains a steel penetrator, it is more powerful than some other types of ammunition used in such firearms, and its use is already banned at some shooting ranges, including the NRA's.
I have been to lots of shooting ranges, and they all have different rules for different types of guns and ammunition that can be used, and these are for various reasons. One indoor range banned the use of lead cord bullets because of possible health risks from breathing lead dust. Another banned the use of rifles on their steel targets because the high-powered rounds were putting dents in the targets and blowing holes in the target stands. This, I suspect, is the reason for green tip being banned at some ranges. Not because of the extreme danger, but because the hardened bullet tips were beating the shit out of their equipment. I know of several ranges that have banned the use of Russian military surplus bimetal bullets for that exact reason.
So the ATF is moving to ban green tip because it can penetrate a law enforcement officer's body armor when fired from a pistol.
This is a very disingenuous statement by the ATF. The only pistols that I'm aware of that can fire a .556 round are AR pistol variants. At the top of this image is an AR-15 rifle with a 16-inch barrel. Below that is what is called an AR pistol. And below that is an actual pistol. As you can see, the AR pistol is approximately 2/3 the length of a full-size rifle, and still 4 times as long as a full-size handgun. These AR pistols are not what appear in people's minds when you say the word pistol. So what is the purpose of AR pistols, you may ask? Well, that has to do with getting around other ATF rulings. By ruling of the ATF, the minimum barrel length for a rifle is 16 inches. Anything less than that is considered a short-barreled rifle, or SBR. SBRs are illegal to the general public without specific approval from the ATF. This approval requires an extensive background check, registration of the weapon, and the payment of a tax stamp to the federal government. The process can take up to a year to complete. There is a loophole to this arduous process by removing one of the features that defines a rifle as a rifle. By removing the buttstock, the part that presses against your shoulder when firing, the weapon no longer meets the definition of a rifle and can legally have as short a barrel as is desired, and thus the AR pistol was born. Because they aren't very practical, pistols are a rather uncommon variant of the AR platform, and represent only a fraction of the total AR market.
So during a February 27th appearance on NRA's radio show, NRA Institute for Legislative Action Executive Director Chris Cox, that's their top lobbyist, argued against ATF's action, stating, wait a minute, now is the time for gun owners, whether you like that AR platform or not, to recognize that they're banning it for a reason. Okay, wait. It sounds like he's about to say something reasonable, but like, look, guys, understand, they're banning it for a reason. They want you to be able to go hunting. They're not taking your guns away. But they're just banning this thing because all it's designed to do is kill cops, basically, right? No. Of course he's not going in that direction. You saw this from a mile away, right? Here's what he says instead. They're banning that ammo because they don't like the fact that women like the adjustable stock and the low recoil found on the AR-15 platform.
Cox here is playing identity politics, which I personally find deplorable. This isn't a gendered issue, but it is an AR platform issue.
Oh, that's what it's for. It's an armor-piercing bullet that they're going to ban, but it's secretly a way to ban the AR-15. Well, that's a very, very secret thing because all other bullets are allowed in the AR-15, and the AR-15 is allowed, and all the other AR platform weapons are allowed. This is the only thing that is being banned, but it's a secret conspiracy against the AR weapons.
This is an attempt to ban the AR, in the same way that YouTube's demonetization tactics are an attempt to ban free speech. It's a ban through disincentive. When the military first introduced the M16 in the 60s, it was equipped with a 20-inch long barrel, and the new 5.56 bullet weighed in at 55 grains. Over the last 4 decades, the M16 has been modified and adapted to better suit the needs of the military. The generation most widely used today, the M4 carbine, has a much shorter 14.5-inch barrel. The original 55 grain bullets proved to be inadequate when fired from the shortened barrel, so a new heavier 62 grain bullet with a steel tip was designed. Because the 55 grain bullets were still in use by the military, they needed a way to differentiate the two rounds. So the new bullet was marked with a green tip. The green tip bullets are no more powerful than any other 5.56 bullets. The only difference is that they are specifically designed for optimal performance out of the shorter carbine barrels. Most AR-15s seen on the market today are modeled after the newer M4 design, so when it comes to military surplus ammo, the 62 grain green tip bullets are just better suited for those weapons than the 55 grain bullets. So you may ask, why would it matter if these particular bullets are banned from the market? Well, any avid shooter will tell you this hobby is expensive. Commercial .223 bullets, the civilian equivalent to 5.56, can cost up to $1 each. Premium rounds can cost even more. This is where military surplus becomes important. Military surplus bullets can cost half that of commercial ones, while still maintaining reliable quality. Banning these bullets makes shooting the AR-15 more expensive and disincentivizes its ownership and use.
There is no bounds of reason for these guys. The green tip is so dangerous they ban it in their own shooting range. But they don't ever want anything banned in the real world because why? Because they sell it. They get money from the manufacturers who make money off of the green tip. They don't want that banned. That's money in their pocket. Cops get killed, who cares? And then think about that for a second. So all those guys who in Ferguson defended Officer Wilson, well, cops are a dangerous job that, Michael Brown was charging towards him. I mean, he wasn't armed, he didn't have a gun, he didn't have any weapons, but he was a big guy and cops need to protect themselves. Then to turn around and go, screw the cops and the government officials. They have armor, let's be able to shoot through the armor so we can murder the cops and government officials better.
Because you keep saying that green tip is so fucking dangerous, I think we should see for ourselves how dangerous it is. We already know it will penetrate soft body armor because, after all, it is a rifle bullet. So we have to go up one level to level 3 rifle armor. Now if this is a true armor penetrating rifle bullet, it should be able to penetrate the lowest level of rifle armor, right? These guys are shooting at a level 3 rifle plate, the lowest level of rifle protection. The plate is nothing more than a hardened steel plate sold by AR-500 for a mere $65. This stuff is the cheapest of the cheap when it comes to rifle body armor. Now, I've been talking a lot about penetration for the last while now, and I'm ready to see some. Looks like I'm getting cock-blocked again here. I had to cut this video short because they keep taking it down and looking at it every few shots, so there is a link in the description.
Okay, this is the plate that we were shooting with the 5.56 green tip rounds from 50 yards. We ended up shooting it 63 times before we just quit trying.
Hold on, say that again?
We ended up shooting it 63 times before we just quit trying.
They gave up. They gave up after shooting it 63 times with supposed armor-piercing bullets. 63 rounds. That is more than 2 full magazines out of an AR-15. What the fuck kind of armor-piercing bullets are these? So in the end, that plate did not consent to penetration, and those 63 armor-piercing rounds had to blow their load all over its face.
Isn't that amazing?
I agree, Chenk. That is amazing. And here's something that's even more amazing. I'm not ending this video without seeing some penetration here. This shows that given the proper conditions, a regular bullet can penetrate even rifle armor. This is a plain lead cord 55 grain bullet, fired at close range from a rather long 22-inch barrel. Now that's penetration. Did you see how rapey that bullet got? Even though that armor didn't give consent, that bullet pushed right through anyway and sprayed its contents all up inside that ballistic gel. So if that bullet will penetrate, surely the armor-piercing one will too.
The guys at the shooting range were a little surprised, just as I was, so we're both kind of curious to see what a green tip would do. Now, the story is that the 62 grain is too heavy, and even though it has the steel penetrator bullet, that it's too heavy and too slow to go through. So we're going to send one of these down at the plate and see what we get. That's the dimple in the front from the 855 penetrator. And it did not penetrate. There's a very, very, very small bump on the back of the plate right here. It's behind that sticker. I mean, it is super, super small. But no penetration and nothing like the 55 grain. So there you have it. 55 grain XM193 through a level 3 AR-500 steel plate is definitely lethal.
So if I had bought a bunch of green tip ammo so I could go on a killing spree against cops, I think I'd be asking for my money back about now.